Hi guys. Welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you here. I really think we could talk forever. So I really know this is going to be like, when I was like writing down questions for you and thinking about it, I was like, do I need them? Because is this just going to be us chatting?
No, we're just going to bounce.
Welcome to the show. I want you to introduce yourself. I hate introducing people for them. I always feel like it's awkward. And then I want to get back into what we were just talking about because it's so interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
But please introduce yourself to the team.
Yeah, of course. Hi, everyone. I'm Nina Haines. I am the founder of sapph-lit, a sapphic book club born out of the queer book talk community. We've been around for over 2.5 years, and we have over 7,500 members from over 60 countries around the world. It is my baby.
It's insane.
Yeah, it shocks me every day.
No,
still.
Do you ever think about that? Like almost 8,000 people, like what that would look like if you put them all in a room? Isn't that so fun?
That's so spooky.
It's such like a girly fun thing to do, to like imagine, like even if you get a lot of likes on an Insta, you're like, imagine all these people in a room, like who love me.
No,
and, like,
I know.
Love
I'm
my
like
work.
every day I wake up and I'm like, I have to talk to the gay people in my phone.
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, beyond that, I have been a New York girl for 8 years. I was a gender and sexuality studies major, could talk about that in academia for so long. And my 9-to-5 is influencer marketing manager at Papier, a personalized stationery company.
And that's how we met.
That's
through
how we met.
One of your jobs previous.
Yeah, I worked at Supergoop, and I hired you to talk about Unseen on TikTok, and then we became besties.
And here's the thing about the PR girlies, like that we need to discuss. First of all, they're carrying the weight of the motherfucking world on their backs.
Amen.
There's not a bitch like a woman who works in influencer marketing. Like,
amen.
Period, end of story. First of all, I had no idea the shit that you guys are putting up with until I was in a meeting, and the guy at the meeting, it was like for something that I might have thought of doing, and they were making a joke about how influencer deliverables are always late, and there's always and they're never on time. And I was like, wait, but like, what?
No,
I didn't know that people
because
are like,
you're on top of your shit. You're a joy to work with.
I'm also not trying to be like, pick me, choose me, I'm a good person. I just didn't know that people are like taking the influencer marketing girlies for granted and just being like, it'll happen when it happens. Like, because for me, I look at the influencer marketing girlies like, this is a friend for me. The amount of friends that I have made because they were influencer marketing girlies and I was hanging out.
My best friend Neve, I met through Supergoop as well.
And what a woman.
What a woman.
Let's talk about how she is the woman. Like, when I think of woman in my brain,
I just had a sleepover at hers last night, and we literally watched Barbie Rapunzel and like did foot masks.
The first time I met her, I was like, you're perfect.
No, she is a perfect human, and I love her with my entire heart and soul.
And it's just, wow. But like, you meet so many people doing it if you're just open-minded.
100%.
And it's amazing.
Yeah, no, I love how a lot of my work friends have turned into really long-term, like, important people in my life, and it makes like those jobs so much sweeter. 100%. And it makes me find a lot more joy in it.
And I know that, you know, in my brain, you were always a creator to me, and like ever since we've become friends, like you just create so much, and I don't think that there's one way to describe what it means to be a creator, but you to me are a creator. Tell me about like that. And tell me about, I mean, we were just talking about like your identity and your upbringing and all of these things. I think like who you are on the screen is exactly who you are in front of my face, which is what I love so much about you. But let's talk about creating.
Yeah. So I've always been a creative person, like from childhood. Like, I wrote a 200-page book about dragons when I was in elementary school.
And when is it getting published, and when can I read it?
I deleted it out of anger in middle school, and I regret it every day.
No, it's like the thing where you're like,
this
worst
is horrible.
day ever, don't text.
Throw
on
it
Facebook.
in a fire.
Yes.
No, literally.
Like, you made a status being like, feeling sad, and like posted it on Facebook.
Yeah.
And that was your right.
No, thank you so much for validating those feelings.
Yeah, that was your right.
Yeah, but when I was in college, really started posting a bit on social media. My job in college, I worked for a sex toy company called Unbound for 3 years, and I started like building my community following through hosting events through them, talking about my thesis in undergrad, which was a 95-page thesis on how gender-neutral vibrator design increases user pleasure, safety, and accessibility.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so I like started, talking about intersectional feminism, pleasure, like vibes, and just generally a bunch of shit related to that on the internet. And, kind of took a bit of a pause. You know, post-grad life is fucking hard.
It's hard.
It's really hard. And then COVID hit, and I was so miserable at my job like 3 or 4 jobs ago. And a friend of mine was just like, you read so much and you are already talking about what you're reading on your Instagram. Why don't you create a TikTok? And I was very anti-TikTok for a while, admittedly.
Yeah.
Probably because I was really annoyed that I was paying 16-year-olds more than I made in an entire year for a video post as like an influencer manager.
And also, weren't we all kind of like at first like,
oh yeah,
what is this?
Because it was cringe. It was embarrassing.
Cringe. It was fucking embarrassing.
Yeah. Like all these little dances.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, TikTok is just straight TikTok. But when I joined TikTok, it pegged me as a bisexual in like 30 seconds. They were like, oh, you're here and you're queer. Welcome.
Like, hey, girl.
So I'm on gay TikTok, which is amazing. And gay book talk specifically. And I just started posting, and I really found my niche quite quickly and my community quite quickly with like just sapphic books that aren't necessarily young adult. Like there was a ton of young adult queer book content out on the app, but I really started talking about the books that made an impact on me while I was in school, like Audre Lorde, Bell Hooks, Eileen Myles. I was reading like Detransition Baby by Tori Peters and, you know, talking about that a ton on the app. And someone commented on one of my TikToks, can we start a book club? And when I fixate on something, it's all I can think about, all I can focus on. 3 hours later, sapph-lit was born. And that was kind of the same thing with like our recent rebrand and merch launch. I just got this idea in my head and literally in 3 days I launched an entire merch store. So yeah, I post about books, I post about lifestyle content, home interior content, fashion, whatever. It's just a reflection of what's inside my brain.
I love it. And can we talk about for a second, and we're going to talk more about books.
Yeah.
The TikTok algorithm. Yeah. Because the TikTok algorithm took one good fucking look at me and said, that's a freak. You're a fucking weirdo.
That's a Gleek theater kid.
The TikTok algorithm was like, okay, you're a freaky little thing. Yeah. And then it was like, here's some other freaky shit. Yeah. And now I'm like watching 20 fucking million videos about like how to build a table. Do I ever want to build a table? No, I'm on like wood like talk, like I'm on like all sorts of shit.
We love hyperfixations.
No, I like really go through it on, like I'm embarrassed for someone to see what my FYP looks like.
Oh yeah, no, I get it. What's the weirdest thing that's ever come up on your FYP that you're like, what the fuck is this? But like I love it.
What the fuck is this? But I love it. Oh my god, such a good question.
For me, it's like the bottles filled with like different liquids rolling down the stairs and the girl reacting to them.
Oh, love that.
Oh my god, she's amazing.
The people making slime side by side with like a 30-part episode of like SpongeBob. Didn't know I needed that.
My boyfriend and I like talk about this constantly. I never watched SpongeBob as a kid, and I don't understand any SpongeBob references. Oh my god. He's like, I need to like Clockwork Orange you, like hold your eyelids open and force you to watch all the SpongeBob episodes.
There was like a group of kids that like the kids that weren't allowed to watch SpongeBob though, now they're talking about their sex lives on the internet.
Amen.
Because something was repressed. Something was repressed.
There is like that's a thesis right there, and I think you need to talk about it.
I think I need to talk more about it because there's so like I think I wasn't allowed to, my parents like would be like, you're not allowed to do that until I was. Do you know what I mean? Like I wasn't allowed to watch it until it just like was on and they weren't noticing.
Truly.
You know what
like
I mean?
Me with The Bachelorette, me with like American Idol, like The Bachelorette. My mom and I FaceTime every week and have since I moved out, so we can watch it together.
What is it about as well? The gays fucking love the most like heteronormative shit that is almost camp. Like it's almost a farce. It's almost fake.
I think The Bachelorette is so heteronormative that it is inherently queer.
Yes.
Like it's so straight. The gays love it.
It's like Christian Girl Autumn.
No, it is.
It's like Christian Girl Autumn.
And now we're circling back.
No,
say what you said about the Republicans and Christian Girl Autumn.
Oh, I was saying that's, you know, when someone's like, oh my God, these Republicans went so right that they went left. Yes. Like sometimes they like say things or tweet things and you're like, why are you saying that?
No, like you're saying something that's like inherently socialist.
It's like you're, like
universal healthcare.
Like, yeah,
you want it?
You know,
Slay.
sometimes they like talk about universal healthcare, but they're not talking about it. But it's like you guys just went so right that you went left. Christian Girl Autumn did the same thing. Yeah, it was leaning in so deeply and truthfully to the Christianness of it inherently that it came around and. Now,
well, I think it's because straight men started to make fun of it, and so the gays picked it up and they were like, no, we love this.
Don't touch this bitch.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, it's people made fun of it because it was like girls expressing themselves and enjoying
As
girly
they do.
things and drinking pumpkin spice lattes, and they started to make fun of people for like enjoying things that brought them joy. And it's like, how dare you?
How dare you?
This is fun. This
Also,
isn't hurting anyone.
Have you ever given a cis man a pumpkin spice latte? He's like, literally, he's like, "Ugh," like, that's so good. Like,
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, bitch. Like, we've known the good shit for
you're
this whole time.
You're repressing you're repressing feelings of joy to appear more masculine, and it's really sad.
It's sad.
And
I'm
this
feeling
is
bad
why
for you.
feminism benefits everybody.
This is why feminism benefits everybody. Like, generally.
It's so men can enjoy pumpkin spice lattes. That's the first tenet of feminism.
That's the reason. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, don't lie. You've ordered one before. Like, or
Yeah.
you've like sent your mom into the
Yeah.
Starbucks to get you
Yeah,
one.
and you
fucking
bolted
love
out
it.
of there when they said pumpkin spice latte after your name. It's like, Kyle, pumpkin spice latte. Like,
It's
shut up.
It's for my girlfriend.
Yeah. No, literally.
It's not for me.
Yeah, no, I love Christian Girl Autumn. I want to wear boots, and I want to wear
same.
cardigans, and just like no skinny jeans. I'm a big pants, big skirt girly.
Yeah, I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. So let's talk a little bit about sapph-lit.
Yeah.
How did you? Okay, so growing a community is such a thing, and I've had so many people on this podcast that are like Geneva hoes, like
Oh, yeah.
the hoes of Geneva,
That's me.
who like deeply love Geneva, and I deeply love Geneva.
You have a Geneva home.
I have a
You're
Geneva
there.
home. I'm there. I'm in it. I'm loving it. I'm living
Yeah,
it.
Spicy Girls Gang, right?
Yeah, it's called like Sexy Spicy.
Sexy,
Sexy,
yeah.
something like that. And honestly, I don't really like hang out there that much, which I think is good.
No,
like,
I
I'm like
get
a
it.
quiet mom that's
No,
like, you guys
you-
hang out and like live your
Yeah.
truth. Like, let me know if you need anything. And they're rocking with it.
No, that is, I think the thing that surprises people most about community building is that it's not about you. Like,
Yeah.
I am such an introvert. I'm an
Me
INF,
too.
I'm an INFJ.
I'm an INFJ.
Oh my God, I
Period.
love
End of
you.
story. I love you so much.
I love you so much. We are the rarest Myers-Briggs.
I
We're
know.
like 2% of the population.
And it's so hot.
It's really hot
It's
of
like
us.
having green eyes.
You're like double
And,
slay.
Like, fuck yeah.
Yeah. No, social events bring me so much anxiety.
Same.
I love like this one-on-one conversations
Yeah.
with people where there's literally no one else around. I love getting deep, but like small talk and, icebreakers and,
It's awkward.
it's not my favorite thing, but my favorite thing is being a bridge between people who want that. A bridge, like I'm the introvert that is the bridge between extroverts.
Yeah.
And with sapph-lit, I like will facilitate community discussion in the app, but like my goal is to have these people be IRL friends and to, have this community be a space where baby gays can go ask for support, talk about and celebrate their identities and generally just, celebrate queer joy and see what is possible as a queer person living their life.
Yeah.
And for, the elder gays of sapph-lit, it's like, oh, they can offer that advice and that support. So it's really, I just really see myself as bringing people together versus like I'm not sapph-lit. Sapph-lit is not me.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like the bridge.
Yeah, and I love that. I feel like also when we think about like our chosen family and like our chosen communities, like you don't want just like one. Like if you have a fulfilled life, you're going to have so many different pockets of community. So also for people who have been out and queer for a longer period of time and maybe aren't new to this journey, it's nice to just have yet another place.
Yeah.
To feel safe, to feel heard, to feel inspired, to feel creative, etc.
Mm-hmm. And also having, like with COVID especially and starting sapph-lit, like so much of the queer community for me and part of why I started sapph-lit was that it was IRL. Like we were going out, we were meeting up in person for like drinks or going to bookstores, and like my queer community in New York was so important to me and still is, of course. But with COVID, that was like ripped away. So I was craving that queer community and that just like touch point to validate my identity in a way.
Yeah.
And so sapph-lit was born. And I know that was so important for, I said we're in over 60 countries. Like there are queer people in Egypt coming to sapph-lit being like, hey, like, oh my God, this is amazing. There are people like in the Netherlands, in Brazil, in Guatemala, in Kentucky, like in Mississippi. Like there are queer people everywhere. We have always existed.
Yeah.
And bringing all of these people through like a shared bookish interest and having it be a really wonderful, safe space where they can see each other and just be like, oh yeah, you're there. It's so beautiful to see the results of that.
I love it. And it's also amazing when you have like one of our very own, like a Haley Jacobson, one of our friends, write a book that you can then discuss. Like it's just like such a beautiful, like, I mean, everyone knows how much I loved that book.
Oh my God. My favorite book ever. It's like she read my journal and put it on the page.
She was on Insta talking about yesterday, like, who she would cast in a film adaptation or whatever. And I'm like, literally, I need it now.
No, I need it right now.
Let's make it like a fucking 20-series television show.
For
like,
the listeners, if you have not read Old Enough by Haley Jacobson, go buy it right now from your local indie.
Go get it.
And read it in a day like I did.
No,
and
in a day.
Cry yourself to sleep.
Sob.
It's
Sobbing.
so fucking good.
Also, I think I had Haley on the pod before, and I want to have her on it again to talk about, like, you know, the full finishing of the process and everything else. But I just, like, this was such, like, a sparkling debut. I just can't wait. Like, I can't wait to reread it because I'm going to do do
I reread it through audio.
Oh, amazing.
The audiobook is so
Did she read
wonderful.
the audio?
No, it's her friend Jenna Cray, I believe, who's an actor.
Oh, love it.
And the voices that they do for each character are just fucking wonderful. No,
okay,
it gave it so much life. I really loved it.
Okay, so everyone go read that. But it's like such a fun thing to have a book club and then to be able to read a book by someone who you know.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And then Haley came and we had like a whole Zoom interview.
It's amazing.
Which was so much fun. And I, of course, interviewed Haley at the Strand for her book launch. So to have like that public Strand interview where it's like super prepped and the questions are approved beforehand and it's, you know, a room of 200 people, and that was a wonderful interview and I had so much fun. But then to go on Zoom and it's just like the girlies.
Yeah, just
and
the girlies.
We were literally just chatting. And we went over by like 30 minutes, I think. Yeah. It was so much fun.
Well, there's genuinely no one better to like chat with than you and her. I can't imagine. That's like my dream chat.
No, literally, like it's kind of like what we said at the beginning. Like you and I could talk for hours. Yeah. Haley and I could talk for hours.
Forever.
Yeah, and we do.
A lifetime. So speaking of that book, it's really validating in the bisexual experience, which I think is something that a lot of people struggle with, and I can't speak to personally. Yeah. But I would love to hear if you're comfortable for you to talk about you validating your own experience, because I think we're finally getting to a place where people aren't being like, I don't understand that, or pick a side or whatever, but all of that sort of like homophobia is still there. It's still directly there on the surface. So how's your journey been in validating yourself?
I still unfortunately encounter biphobia on the internet on a regular basis. Especially I hard launched my boyfriend like back in April, and you know, some of the comments were like, oh, I thought you were gay. Like I think one person said, and obviously all these people are blocked because I use the block button so liberally.
Fucking block.
This is my corner of the internet and you are not going to disturb it, my love.
No, you're not going to disturb it, my love. Thanks so much for coming.
Yeah.
See ya.
No, one person said, I swear to God, I've dated I've dated less men than these so-called gay girls on the internet. I've dated less men than these so-called gay girls on the internet.
Well, here's my thing. Good for you. You're not me. You're not. This isn't my experience. It doesn't take away from the fact that I'm queer and a part of this community.
No, in fact, my attraction to men affirms my bisexuality because that is a part of bisexuality.
Thank you so much for affirming my bisexuality. You fucking weirdo.
No, like, okay, so for me, like, my journey, I've always known I was queer. I, like, paid a little too much attention to women in movies.
Mamma Mia, Amanda Seyfried.
The Mamma Mia, Lay All Your Love on Me scene where Amanda Seyfried's crawling on the beach is hot. Queer culture.
I find myself talking about this often. Like, the listeners know, like, we've talked about this scene before. There isn't one person walking this motherfucking earth other than terrible, terrible cis men who don't think that that's hot.
Amen.
It's the hottest thing ever. Like, you're paying close attention to her in that bathing suit. You're like,
That was my sexual awakening because I was like, I don't know if I want to be her or if I want to fuck her. And the answer is both. But yeah, I was sharing with you earlier, I grew up pretty religious. I went to church 3 times a week. I went on 2 mission trips to New Orleans and then 2 mission trips to a monastery in the south of France for like 2 weeks.
Holy shit.
Where in the monastery you go to church 3 times a day. And I was raised in, you know, a fairly, like, comparatively a fairly queer friendly church and but those thoughts and those impressions from your peers still get to you.
And the guilt that you feel that's being projected onto you almost.
And also, there was a part of the trip where I was like at the monastery and I got a purity necklace given to me where it was like, this symbolizes fidelity and only being with one person your entire life. And I was like, oh, but it's pretty. It was a really pretty necklace, to be fair.
Like, no, it's gonna look so good with my little outfit.
No, my Christian girl autumn outfit. And I still have it, actually. But yeah, it was definitely like something that stunted my sexuality journey. But then I went to NYU, the gayest school in the country.
It just clicked.
And I was a gender and sexuality studies major, and I went in thinking I was straight, and I left proudly bisexual.
Yeah.
And I think also, you know, like I dated someone in college for an extended period of time, and it's like, I don't regret that relationship at all. It was wonderful, but it's still, you know, stunted my sexuality journey, in part because when I confessed to one of my friends, like, oh, I think I might be bisexual, she was like, Nina, you're the straightest person I've ever met. You're literally a gold star straight. And
something's going on with that
and that shoved me back in the closet further. Ugh, and like there were just these moments where I was kind of reaching out for help and rejected by the community. And I think that is, you know, I think that is still a problem within the queer community, is that some people want to gatekeep entry, and that is, to me, not acceptable.
Not acceptable.
And so I was talking about this with my friend today, actually. There was like, oh, well, you're just experimenting. I don't think experimenting exists. Like, if you feel attraction towards queer people, towards people who are not, like, towards non-men as a woman, you are queer.
Yeah. Like,
that is a queer experience. Straight people don't experience that. Yeah. Straight people don't have those urges to fuck women. I'm sorry. They just don't. And that, like, that validation and that attraction comes from within, and you have to validate yourself and know that there are going to be people who validate you back and uplift you, and find that chosen family. And thankfully I did. My best friend, who's like my life partner, I adore her. She is also bisexual and was such a foundational part of my coming out journey. Yeah. And she introduced me to Haley Jacobson and sent me so much of her writing about bisexuality, about how, you know, it's not 50-50. It's not, I have to be 50% attracted to men, 50% attracted to women. It's not trans exclusionary. It is gender expansive and has always been inclusive of trans and non-binary people. I just did a lot of research on bisexuality and what that means, and everything was resonating with me so deeply. And then when I, you know, left that college relationship and started dating non-men and having those queer experiences for the first time, I was like, oh yeah, like, yeah, I'm gay.
You were like, fuck yeah, this is happening.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you finally had those people, because I can't imagine how difficult it was. And I think sometimes too, it's also like not an issue of like semantics or verbiage, but like different people decide what a word or a label means to them without realizing that that word or label could mean something else to someone else, and that the general meaning of that word or label is something entirely different from the way they're taking it. Yes. And it's their own insecurities forcing them to project onto people who are trying to have that journey for themselves, and it's so unfair.
Yeah, I think recently bisexuality and pansexuality have kind of been like in this fight that they shouldn't be in.
Yeah.
And for me, my understanding is that bisexuality is attraction to genders alike and unlike your own, and then pansexuality is kind of gender blind, where you are attracted to the person without considering their gender. Yeah. Whereas bisexuality, like, I love women, female supremacy, like that, like, gender is something that I consider when evaluating an attraction of a person. And to my knowledge and my understanding of it, that is not pansexuality.
Yeah.
So I identify as bisexual because I do consider gender. But I also identify as queer. I identify as gay. I identify as sapphic. I identify as women-loving women, like WLW, which you see a lot on TikTok and was a term that TikTok introduced me to that I love. Like these more general umbrella terms feel safe for some people when they don't want to specify it down to something like bi or pan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've already touched on this, but if you're comfortable like diving in a little deeper, I'm curious about when you did that hard launch with your boyfriend.
Yeah.
How do you continue? And obviously I don't know much about your boyfriend or, you know, his own sexuality and everything like that, but how do you continue to validate yourself and feel empowered in your community when you have those comments being made at you that are totally just so fucked up? And also when you do date a man, like how do you continue to validate yourself? Because I think a lot of women struggle, a lot of bi women, I see a lot of comments and questions coming to me that I have no idea how to answer. So I would love your own feedback.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And being straight passing, like in a heterosexual presenting relationship as a queer person can be really difficult. And it has been difficult for me at times. With my boyfriend, Ian, he is the most supportive, the biggest ally. He celebrates my identity. He celebrates sapph-lit. He celebrates my, like, queer projects. As he should, because if he didn't, red fucking flag goodbye.
If he didn't,
but he does, and he's like my biggest cheerleader, and I love him so fucking much. But I validate my identity beyond who I'm in a relationship with. You can see I'm wearing a fucking gay and literate hat.
I love the hat, by the way.
We love the hat, sapph-lit merch, NinaHaines.com.
I love it. I love it.
Little plug. But it's in how I dress. It's in the music I listen to. It's in the books that I read. It's in the community that I create. It's in the friends that I have. It's in how I decorate my apartment. Yeah. It is in the movies that I watch, like the media that I consume. Bisexuality is a worldview. It embraces fluidity. It embraces gender expansiveness. It's absolutely changed my life to embrace the bisexual identity in all aspects of my life. Yeah. And that validates my identity. Yeah. Because being queer is so much more it's so much more than who you fuck. Yeah. And to reduce your queerness down to your romantic and sexual experiences is really it does a disservice to queer people. Damaging, yeah. And it also like completely ignores, you know, asexuals, aromantics, demisexuals. Like there is so much more to queerness than who you're dating and who you fuck. Exactly. It is a full worldview and it's a rejection of binaries. It is challenging, you know, heteronormative standards. It is like, I know that any relationship I am in is a queer relationship because I am queer. Yeah. And that's that. Yeah. And no one else can tell me otherwise. And if you do, then you're blocked. Then you're not going to be in my life, and I'm sorry for you.
Yeah, I'm so sorry for you. And I think it's really interesting because in reality, nobody, no matter who you are, should be reduced to who you fuck. So it's the most like destabilizing thing that society is obsessed with, specifically doing this to bisexual non-men. You know what I mean? It's so fucking crazy to me. Yeah. And it's like nobody wants to be reduced to that. Everybody has a world within them that is so much more expansive than who they're fucking sleeping with. Yes. And by the way, who the fuck cares who someone's sleeping with?
Yeah, it's kind of creepy that you're fixating on that.
Why do you care? Yeah. My love, why do you care?
My love. No, and I think obviously for like bisexuality is not a monolith. Bi men experience biphobia different than bi women, than bi non-binary people. In my experience and view, when you say that you're bisexual as a woman, you're invalidated because people just think you're straight. But if you're expressing that you're bisexual as a man, people just think you're gay. Because society cannot comprehend attraction that does not center a man.
Period. Say it fucking louder. You know that thing that's like, if you had a microphone to the whole world, like, what would you say?
Yeah.
I would say that, and then I would say Christian Girl Autumn is back.
Christian Girl
And
Autumn
it's cunt.
is so cunt. No, literally, people cannot comprehend, like, two women together. It's fucking hilarious.
It's so
They're just
wild.
like, oh, they were roommates. They were besties. Historically close friends.
They kissed at the club one time to be hot to men. And no.
Yeah. I mean, there definitely is, like, that aspect of fetishization.
Yeah.
When I was single and dating actively, like, I would so quickly avoid all the people who are like, want to be my unicorn? Like threesome with your bestie?
This happened to you?
Oh, so much. So fucking much. Because people see bi women as, like, a sex object.
People need to mind their own fucking business.
People really need to calm the fuck down and sit down and shut up.
Like, maybe Taylor Swift was onto something when she was like, you need to calm down.
Least favorite Taylor song, but yeah, go off,
like
queen.
A terrible song.
Can we talk about how Taylor Swift is gay? No, I don't want to get canceled.
Okay, no, you're not going to get canceled, but I would love for you to actually, like, give that perspective, because I've had one perspective.
Yeah.
Maybe just one. I'm not entirely sure if other people have talked about this on the pod, because the pod's been around. But we've talked about before how I think, you know, the evidence shows that would be a queer woman.
Yes.
That's number one. Number two is, who am I to say? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And number three is, if you are online being like Kales or whatever the fuck that person's name is, who's like stalking information about people and outing, that's gone too far and you need to stop. Yeah. Those are my three thoughts on the whole thing.
No,
I'd love to hear yours.
I love those thoughts, and I agree with those thoughts. I think that speculating about someone's sexuality is different than, like, trying to force them to be outed, like that bisexual actor and Heartstopper. I think those are two different things. Like, I wouldn't say that. I think there are some gaylers who take it too far, obviously, but I think that queer people find queer meaning and joy and validation by making so-called straight media queer.
It's also like,
and that interpretation is like a very validating experience as a queer Swiftie.
Totally. And it's also like, come on, guy. Like, for the, like, Hitler, whatever the fuck that is, those people,
you're just being homophobic.
I'm like, wait, number one, you're being homophobic. Number two, be fucking for real right now.
Be fucking for real.
Like, watch one Gaylor explain anything.
Listen to right where you left me, and then come talk to me.
I'm sorry, what else does glass shattered on the white cloth mean?
It means that
she married a fucking Jewish man and she had a Jewish wedding. I'm sorry.
Literally.
No, like, find another explanation. I dare you. What are you going to say? She dropped a glass on a fucking paper towel? Like,
she literally didn't.
So it's kind of just like, be fucking for real.
Yeah.
But my other thing is, like, I would love, and like, I don't want Taylor to do anything she doesn't want to do, and Mama doesn't do anything she doesn't want to do, and that is,
I don't ever want to be in a situation that I don't want to be in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just like Kim Cattrall said, I don't ever want to be in a situation I don't want to be in for not even an hour.
That's where I got it.
I stand by that.
I stand by her.
I would love for Taylor Swift one day to just date a woman and, like, say nothing else about it. Like, I would love to watch the internet break. I would love to watch the music that came out of that. I mean, I have no idea if that would ever happen. I don't know if you think that would ever happen.
Yeah, I think that she, like, because of who she is, she can't come out. Like, if you've seen Miss Americana, you already saw how hard it was for her to, like,
even
express a single political opinion about women's rights. You think that she can come out and, like, you know, keep a vast majority. She wouldn't be able to perform in a lot of countries.
Yeah.
Like, as a queer person, you are not allowed to perform in a lot of countries.
Yeah.
Like, it would absolutely affect her career.
Yeah.
And I think that's why she probably has not come out. But I'm not speculating.
I'm not speculating either, because I feel like it's inappropriate and it's silly and it's not really.
She can do whatever the fuck she
wants.
wants.
I
ultimately don't care, but I will make every Taylor Swift song gay because I am.
No,
gay.
I agree. I ultimately don't care, but when one person, like, is like, here's like a breakdown of Karlie Kloss and Taylor Swift, I'm like, well, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes more sense than it didn't.
It's a little fruity.
The selfie, those selfies. You know exactly what I'm talking. Yeah. I'm looking at. I'm like, these are lovers. These women.
Oh no,
these women are having sex a little bit. Just sometimes.
Just a little bit. Like, just a little bit.
And honestly, like, good for them. But, like, I see that and I'm like, And then the Diana Agron, whenever like anyone brings that up as well, I'm
Yeah.
like, Quinn Fabray could have been queer in
No,
another. Ryan Murphy
100%.
I think he wanted her to be.
Yeah. I think he wanted everyone on that show to be queer a little bit.
And
they were.
They were. I have nothing else to say except for they were.
Yeah.
Like, it's just,
Yeah.
I just think that, like, yeah, I think the speculation is problematic, but I do think the proof is in a lot of the pudding. And I do think, and this is another point that's been made on this podcast before, the most important thing of all is that if people who are queer find representation, meaning, joy, comfort, solidarity, safety in media of any kind, then that is an amazing thing.
Period.
And they should keep doing that.
Say it louder for the people in the back.
Say it louder if you have a microphone to the universe. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite Taylor Swift song?
Oh my God, yes, of course I do.
Or album even?
No, Neve and I literally next week are filming a YouTube video ranking every single Taylor Swift song.
And I'll be sad.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I love it.
And yeah, I think, so it changes a lot. My favorite album is Speak Now. I am a Speak Now girly at heart.
I love that about you because you contain multitudes. You really do.
You.
Like,
Thank you.
because I would look at you and like knowing you as much as I do, I would say, okay, I see how you could like Evermore. I see in ways how you would be in 1989 or Rep Stan. I could see you liking Speak Now, but for you to be like, that's my shit. It's just like you are such like a dynamic, interesting person with so many interests and loves. You contain multitudes, but anyway, continue.
Yeah.
You're
Okay.
a Speak Now girly.
I really Speak Now is number one as an album, and then I would say like Folklore or Red after that are really, really important to me.
Yeah.
In equal measure.
Okay.
And then after that, I would probably say Fearless. Like I would say, like I'm very comfortable with that being my top four.
Okay.
It's too hard to rank post that.
I have like a fuck ass top four.
Tell me.
Okay. So
you're obviously like Lover in 1989.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we know that
Fair
about
enough.
you.
But Reputation is like probably my favorite right now.
Yeah.
I used to be a Lover apologist. Like I would go around being like, you guys just don't get it. Then
album slays.
Yeah, it's great. And then I kind of became a Reputation girly because I feel like I needed it.
No, I understand. You needed your Reputation era.
I needed it. I would say I actually go Reputation, 1989, Lover. And then I would say I'm like Folklore, Evermore, Midnights, and then the old stuff. People are like, whoa. Yeah. But here's the thing. I cannot take a shower without Alexa Shuffle Folklore or Alexa Shuffle Evermore. Right Where You Left Me is a top fiver for me.
So I'm actually currently writing a sapphic summer romance novel inspired by Folklore.
When are we getting it? Give it to me. I need to read it.
Chapter 1 is done, and I'm taking Haley's writing class to finish it up.
Oh,
but the whole outline is done.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Folklore is a perfect, like, for me, it's hard, though. This has also been a conversation on this podcast before. When you look at it as a whole album, there's a difference between being like, I like songs on that album and being like album of the year because of the progression, because of the story the whole album tells. And Folklore is an album.
Yeah. Folklore is a fucking story, beginning to end, is just so, so beautiful. And it came at a time when I really needed it. Like, I was very much before it came out. Honestly, like, my internalized misogyny was, like, not Taylor Swift's #1 fan.
Yeah.
And then Folklore came out and, like, beat that the fuck out.
It was like,
me.
shut the fuck up.
No, literally, they were like, sit down,
Yeah.
listen to this front to back, and then revisit all of her old discography and respect her in the way that she deserves. And I was like, okay.
And you're like,
and now I'm the biggest Swiftie.
And did you see last night how she was drunk at the VMAs?
Yes.
And my favorite thing, I was talking
her.
about this with someone earlier today, her like publicist comes up to her and gives her a glass of wine, but then also tries to give her a water, and she's looking at the water as though this is a foreign object. And I feel like, you know what, everybody has their own relationship to alcohol, and like we all know that overall alcohol is not a good thing, but it really pisses me off when celebrities, like the goopification of celebrities, when they're like villainizing everything. It's like sugar, alcohol, carbohydrates. Like, in order to be healthy and to look young, you have to do all these things. I love to see the most powerful woman in the music industry and one of the most powerful women in the world right now having a good time and showing people that you can be joyful, you can be feminine, you can have a glass of wine, you can enjoy your life.
Yeah, you don't have to have it like so controlled all the fucking time. You can have a glass of wine, you can let loose, like you can eat the food you want to eat, you can
feel good.
Oh my God, when she was talking about like her eating disorder in Miss Americana, and like how she was like, oh, I can do a tour and not feel tired.
Yeah.
Like, slay. More power to you.
Amazing.
And she looks so good.
And she looks amazing. She looks beautiful. So, pivoting away from this for a little bit, I want to talk about book talk and your thoughts on book talk.
Yeah.
I feel like there are like sects to book talk, like areas, because I feel like sometimes I've read books that book talk have recommended and I've been like, that didn't hit. And then other times I find areas of book talk where I'm like, all of these hit. What is your take on book talk?
Yeah, so book talk, also like bisexuality, not a monolith. Like, I am not on the side of book talk where they are like objectifying hockey players and getting like called out by hockey players' wives for like saying the most crude crass shit. Like in their fucking videos. I'm just trauma. Like, literally could not be me. Like,
not my circus, not my monkey,
not my circus, not my fucking monkeys. Like, actually, that part of book talk is terrifying to me.
Yeah.
I am on queer book talk, obviously.
Love it.
I'm also kind of on like unhinged woman, like unreliable narrator.
Yeah.
Like existential book talk where it's like Lisa Taddeo, Melissa Broder, Mona Awad, like that kind of like
midlife crisis-y.
Yeah, like my book talk book that was introduced to me by the app and like changed the way that I read and gave me a ton of professional opportunities as well because I'm now friends with the author. A Certain Hunger by Chelsea Summers. Okay. It is about a psychopathic woman who fucks men, then kills them, and then cooks them and eats them. And she's a food writer, and like the descriptions of how she sautés up their fucking meat is honestly quite disturbing to read because you're like, your mouth is watering and you're like, oh my God, this sounds so good. It's so good. It's so unhinged.
I'm dying at you sitting here in the gay and literate hat telling me that your mouth is watering reading a book about a woman that fucks men and then cooks them and eats them. Yeah. That's so it that you're sitting here saying that. I love it. Like, I'm going to read the book.
No, you absolutely should.
Okay.
When Chelsea, shout out Chelsea, hi if you're listening. When Chelsea signed my book, like the way that she signs it is she draws like a butcher's knife and her signature is "Eat what you love."
No, go off.
We got drinks so before I interviewed her at Books Are Magic, and she is just the most interesting person and just so kind. I was having a really like, I think you must have seen my like friends only TikTok. Is like I felt so creatively stunted like last month, and she sent me the nicest email where she wrote, tie on your hair bows, lace up your sneakers, apply that lipstick, and give your inner Nina the space to dance. I believe you two can do amazing things together. Like, she is just truly like such a wonderful woman.
That's such a beautiful thing.
She's so wonderful.
I feel like it's so, because I saw you post to Friends Only just about how you were trying to juggle doing it all. Yeah. And it's so fucking difficult. And like I genuinely feel so lucky for like how my TikTok thing went. It was also very different in 2020 for like gaining notoriety. But on the same note of it, I was saying this to my boyfriend last night, like, a lot of people that reach success on TikTok, it happens overnight. So when they have to get to a place where they're like, how do I build and keep a brand? How do I maintain my audience? What is my brand? What am I doing on this
app? Marketing.
Then they have a team already because they got 5 million followers in 2 weeks. Yeah. When you're building it yourself actively, you're learning all of this stuff. So to do that on top of your 9-to-5, on top of running the book club, it's so overwhelming. And like, honestly, I think you should feel so proud of yourself. Like, I saw also, some other video of another person who's like really putting their like fucking all into this app, being frustrated because it is frustrating and it's allowed to be, but I think you should be so proud of yourself.
Thank you.
But can you speak to like how you're doing it all and sort of like when you go through those dips where you're like, Jesus fuck, all I want to do is be creative and like do this shit, but then I also have to do this other shit. Like, how do you pull yourself back up and like, for lack of a better phrase, kind of get in touch with your inner Nina?
No, that is the question of all questions, and one that I get in almost every single interview that I do, which is like, how the fuck do you do it all?
How do you do it all?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Okay, so one, I organize my life in a GCal obsessively.
To the minute.
Like, to the minute.
To the second.
Exactly. all of my emails are linked to the same GCal, and because I have my work email, I have my sapph-lit email, and then I have my business email, and then I have my personal email. And all 4 of those emails are on the same GCal.
Yeah.
And I organize it that way by like personal freelance work, personal life, sapph-lit stuff, and then work, like my 9-to-5 stuff.
Yeah.
So that's all very meticulously organized down to the minute every single day. If it is not in my calendar, it does not exist. I don't, unfortunately, right now, I don't have room for spontaneity in my life very much.
Neither do I.
And my friends know that, and they are so gracious with how I need to organize my life.
Yeah.
I don't know how I do it. It is a day-to-day struggle
Yeah.
of making time for myself and making time for what I want to do creatively and making time for what I need to do for my job.
Yeah.
But I just, somehow it happens.
It happens.
I have no other answer right now.
Like,
I know it is
like
not
fucking. No,
it
but
is not flawlessly.
You make it look sexy, beautiful. You make it look like a sleigh. Like you make it look like you're just like vibing out. And I know the time, energy, fucking tears, blood, and sweat that goes into everything you do.
Yeah.
But the way you come off is joy. So I hope that you know that even though behind the scenes you're like, I'm having a breakdown, I don't know how I'm going to get this done.
Yeah.
You get it done and it looks like joy.
And I mean, on my work calendar, every single week, like public event, because, you know, our work calendars are all shared, like I have an hour for therapy every single week. I've been in therapy every single week since I was 17 years old.
Yeah.
I am 26. It's almost been a decade. And it is one of the things that absolutely keeps me going. To-do lists, like journaling every single morning. I do like morning pages via like Artist Way, Julia Cameron. Look that up if you are in a creative rut. It's life-changing. I have to write everything down. I have to get everything that's in my head down on the page, and then I put it into actionable small bites, and I just fucking get it done. And somehow I can still have personal relationships. I don't get it.
Well, to your point that you made about your friends knowing that like there's no room for spontaneity, I had this like growing concern that like that would be a problem in my friendships and kind of like a thing I was talking about in therapy because nobody ever gave me the indication. But we were talking about like making plans, my friends and I, this weekend, and one of them like complimented me and was like, something I love so much about you that feels so intentional is that when you ask me to do something and I say yes, then you're immediately like, here's a reservation, here's a time.
That is me. Yeah.
And I do that not only because I love the person and I care, but it's mostly because like selfishly, if I have the plan, I can put the plan down. I can't do like a let's wait and see what we might do. And so it's a way for me to get organized, but to also prioritize my relationships, and to hear someone else say like, I noticed that and I value that quality in you was such like a comforting thing to almost be like, you're doing a good job, I think.
No, that resonates so much. And I've had friends compliment me in the same way because it's like, I'm the friend in the group chat that like finalizes
here's
all
where
the
we're
details.
going.
Here's where we're going. Here's what's happening. Show up at this time.
No, because that's what needs to happen.
Like I need to do that for myself, and therefore like my friends benefit from that.
They benefit from it.
And it's, I mean, I've also, you know, learned to schedule and carve out time for myself. Like alone time is very important to me as an introvert. Yeah. And then also like I have standing days where I see Neve. Like every Tuesday I'm gonna see Neve, and if I don't see her like that Tuesday because something comes up, I will reschedule it. Yeah. It's like every single Tuesday in our calendars is Nini time.
It's self-care.
We are Nini.
Yeah.
Nina, Neve, Nini.
Yeah.
And you know, I make sure I have like my weekends are for my boyfriend. Yeah. So we can have that like relaxing couples
romantic
time.
Relationship building time.
And I really, really, really try my hardest to put work away at the end of the day. Yeah. Like at 5 o'clock, I'm sorry if you are my coworker listening to this, you're dead to me.
You're dead.
Like,
goodbye.
I am also very grateful that I work from home. The company that I work for is also based in London, so I get up early and I end work quite early. Yeah. It's kind of like it's an 8 to 4 thing rather than 9 to 5. Yeah. So I have my evenings pretty free and flexible with personal life stuff. And I'm also an early bird. Like I'm a grandma. I go to bed at like 9:30 and I wake up at 6:30. Like that is like, I need my sleep. Yeah. Clearly. But But yeah, I make sure that it is scheduled and that I know what I'm doing every day when I wake up.
So to wrap it up, we're going to play a game.
Oh my God, I love.
And I'm just going to ask you some rapid fire questions.
Done.
Okay. So to start, what is your hottest take?
Misandry doesn't exist.
I feel like that's kind of freezing for the listening ears that you have today, but we'll take it.
Misandry doesn't exist.
It just definitely doesn't.
No, like misogyny is built on systems of oppression, and women cannot oppress men, so misandry doesn't exist.
Sorry, and also when are like some men, but most men, gonna just get on board with the fact that like the patriarchy is also harming them? Nobody is out here like, you got like, for sure.
Go see the Barbie movie.
Like,
in the year of Greta Gerwig, like...
Come on, guys.
No.
Like,
in the year of the Barbie movie, misandry doesn't exist.
no, it doesn't exist. What is your guilty pleasure?
I don't have guilty pleasures. I'm not guilty about anything that gives
so
me pleasure.
What is like something that... What is like a TV show then that you watch that you're like, I know that this one isn't like the most popular, but this shit just like butters my muffin?
I watch every single dating show on every single streaming platform.
As you should.
Yeah.
As you should. Do you have a favorite?
Love Island. And
the UK
accents,
one, it's so fucking
no,
good.
it's the best. It's the best.
Like,
there's nothing better.
What is it, season 3 with Kem and Chris? And
It's so good.
It's so good. Television has never been that good.
No, peak television greatness.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is your favorite fast food?
Popeyes, chicken sandwich and Cajun fries. Yeah.
What is your favorite junk food?
Chocolate. I'm a chocolate girl. I don't like candy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not like a sour gummy
girl. You're
like sugar. I love chocolate. Yeah.
Love it. What is something that you will always splurge on?
Good wine.
Really?
Yeah, natural wine.
So you like natural wines?
Yeah.
Do you like any certain type of wine?
Orange wine. I love natural orange wine. Is my absolute favorite.
I love it.
I'll buy you a bottle.
Okay, please. What is your favorite thing to do in New York?
Ooh. Bookstore crawl.
Love.
I love to pick a neighborhood. One of the things that I do on my Google Maps is I star every single bookstore.
Yeah.
And whenever I have a free moment, which is rare, but if I'm ever in like a new neighborhood or, bored or need to kill some time, I will open my Google Maps and go to the nearest bookstore.
Yeah.
And I love to it's my happy place. It is so relaxing to me to just go through a bookstore.
I love it.
Yeah.
What is the most underrated book that has like come out or been like in the conversation in the last few years?
That's a great question. I would say A Certain Hunger by Chelsea Summers.
Okay.
I don't think people are talking about cannibalism
people aren't
enough.
talking about it. People aren't talking about cannibalism. You fucking heard it here first.
Yeah. Also, if you loved A Certain Hunger, read Tender is the Flesh, which
Okay.
is it's like cannibalism, like turned
Cannibalism,
up.
like
Yeah.
amplified.
Yeah. No, if you loved Yellow Jackets, you have to read A Certain Hunger and Tender is the Flesh.
I love it.
Yeah.
What is the name of like the playlist that you listen to, like when you're just like bopping around or when you need some good vibes?
The current playlist that I'm listening to I titled it Fame Fucker after Vampire by Olivia Rodrigo, and it has Olivia Rodrigo, Taylor Swift, Renee Rapp, just like Chapel Roan, Boy Genius, like it's just like J-Bops. We love Chapel.
We love Chapel in this house.
Yeah.
I'm seeing her both nights because
she needs to play Candy and Old
she
Enough.
needs to play Candy and Old Enough.
Yeah.
I'm seeing her both nights. She's in Brooklyn because my brother and his boyfriend and then my other brother's girlfriend all wanted to go. Then my friends found out and I was like, well, I can't not go with my friends. So I'm going to go twice. Thank you very much.
I couldn't get tickets. I'm not really a concert person to be fair, so I didn't try that hard.
Yeah.
But like, I would totally go.
I love it.
To a show.
If you had to trust a straight man, living dead, in pop culture, media, celebrity, who would you choose?
Anthony Bourdain.
Period.
I love that man. I love that man so much.
I also love that man.
Yeah.
That's such a good answer, and I love how you just knew it.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like my token favorite straight man.
I love it. Last question. What is your favorite book of all time?
Old Enough by Haley Jacobson.
Period. We love Haley Jacobson in this house.
Yes.
And where can everyone find you?
At Nina.Haines on TikTok and Instagram. And if you want to get sapph-lit merch, ninahaines.com/shop.
And join sapph-lit as well.
Yeah, obviously.
Be a part of the
at sapph-lit
revolution.
on Instagram.
Thank you so much for coming. This was so delightful.
This was so much fun. I had a blast.
I love it. I
Thanks
love you
for
guys.
having me.
Bye.
Bye.